All right, welcome back. Making end-of-life preparations can really be a daunting task. It can be confusing, but it's reality. But where sympathy and profits go hand in hand, our next guest, Ed Michael Reggie, is the founder of the website. It's called Funeralocity, and he's here to help.
All right, the site offers tips on how to make life easier on the loved ones and your wallet at a time when you may not be making clear decisions. Nice to have you here.
Great to be here.
So tell us a little bit about the website.
The website is very simple. It's free. You type your zip code in or your address and get the prices of every funeral and cremation provider in that area.
So what are the trends right now in funerals?
The trends very much are towards cremation.
Why is that?
Numerous reasons. Some people think it's greener. Big question about that. To cremate a body is the same as driving a car 500 miles as far as carbon impact. 2 out of 5 Americans live in a town, in a state they weren't born in.
Huh.
Okay. What does that mean? They're not near the family plot anymore, and they don't have a plan.
But do people even have family plots anymore?
Sure they do.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
They do.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's talk about the different, when Rosanna brought up different trends. Other than cremation, there's a lot of people who want to like get back to the earth, like in a bioeconomic way, not just economic, but environmental way of going green, like where you're just shrouded in a cloth and put back in the earth.
Yes. There are numerous ways to have a quote-unquote green funeral. One of them is not to have a metal casket, to be buried in a simple box, or some people they're planting a tree around them from their remains. There's also what's called a water cremation, it's really alkaline hydrolysis, not yet legal in New York, but being made legal in different states, which really is putting the body in water and a 5% potassium solution, and it naturally decays the body.
How long does this take?
It takes hours because they do turn a heat up to an extent, but not like the 1,500 degrees of a cremation.
And then what happens with the skeleton?
They crush the bones just as they do in a cremation and make it into a powder. Exactly.
Huh. Now, is there a cheap way to do this?
Well,
what's the cheapest way? When you gotta go, right?
The cheapest way is what we call direct cremation, which is you simply are going to get a basic urn with the ashes. There will be no memorial or ceremony at all.
How much is that?
Well, it varies. It can vary greatly, but as low as $700 to, gosh, up to $5,000.
You know, Rosanna has talked about in her family, they don't discuss funerals. They don't discuss death and dying and planning for that. And quite frankly, I didn't really discuss it until my dad was dying, and we all did it together. And I, went to pick out the casket and figure out this, that, and the other when you're faced with it. Why is it that it's one of those topics that so many of us really just don't want to face right now?
We don't, and it sets us up for being vulnerable and making financial decisions at a time of grief.
Because it can be taken advantage of, or? Well,
everyone wants to upsell you, right? We live in, if you buy a suit, they want to sell you a tie, right? It's the way we operate. But yes, you make a better decision if you've planned it beforehand.
Why are funeral costs so high in New York and the surrounding areas?
It's really interesting. We just came up with the top 10 places, most expensive places to die in America. We just issued that report. Long Island is the most expensive place to die in America. Very high costs, very high prices. It's not related to real estate prices. We've concluded why Staten Island, it is more expensive to have a burial or cremation in Staten Island than it is in Manhattan.
But we don't know why.
The reason is cultural, is the best explanation, and that is funeral homes are all checking each other's prices, and I think because consumers don't check, they, in tandem, without really conspiring, get together and they raise their prices when they see the other ones have raised their prices. 83% of Americans do not call more than one funeral home at a time of need.
They just go to one that's in the community
83% of the time,
right?
Correct. And what that means, I think funeral homes realize that. And, well, if you call only one, you're probably not shopping as smartly as you can. And in the age of Amazon, we're all used to shopping. And that's why we created Funeralocity.com.
Online. I mean,
How long does it take to get a casket? And who's going to deliver that?
Costco and Walmart are the two biggest retailers who sell them. Of course, with Costco, you know, they're going to come in a group of 3 all shrink wrapped together. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
So, the bottom line.
Yeah.
The bottom line is plan in advance is the smartest way. With your loved ones, people don't want to burden their children with making decisions that will be emotional and maybe spending a lot more. The most important thing is to plan in advance, and of course begin that by going to Funeralocity.com to see the prices, to see who we've deemed as an excellent funeral home.
Can they talk to somebody if they, or can you
Absolutely.
only do, okay. So if you go to Travelocity,
Not
I'm sorry.
Travelocity.
I'm so sorry, Funeralocity. You
Yes,
can actually
one of
speak
them
with,
sells one-way tickets and the other one sells